Welcome to the Drinks Entrepreneur Podcast. My name is Alex Macintyre. I'm a chartered financial planner working with founders and leaders across the drinks industry. In each episode, I sit down with the people behind some of the world's most exciting drinks brands to explore the real stories behind launching, building and scaling drinks businesses. If you love the drinks industry and the stories behind the bottles, you're in the right place. Let's get started with today's episode. Right, good morning everyone. I'm really excited today to be joined by Dave Howard from House of Rum. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning. It is, and it is morning as well. We're doing this in the morning, aren't we? Perfect time for
Absolutely,
drinking.
absolutely. Yeah. Strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to be doing tasting as well. So, we're a bit of a novel concept for me drinking. I normally try and stretch out to at least 12, but
Not,
when in
not,
Rome.
not the first time you've had a drink in the morning, let's be honest.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure
Um,
most people listening would agree.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, isn't it?
That's right. That's
So,
the other expressions.
so great to have you on, Dave. And probably what I'll start with, and obviously we've had a chat prior to this, and obviously had a chat about your background prior to getting into the world of rum. But if you'd like to kindly give a potted history of yourself from early days up until when you got into rum full time, that would be fantastic, if I may.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks for the invite to come on the podcast. Um,
Pleasure.
where do we start? Well, I was very lucky to go to the Caribbean in my early 20s. First island that I visited was Antigua. And I fell in love with several things in the Caribbean, not just the sunshine and the beautiful people, but the culture. But I fell in love with rum, rum in the sense that House of Rum is a single cask collection of sipping rums. That was the first experience I had of that. Prior to that, it'd been rum and coke or whatever you drink in the pub. So I fell in love with rum in this format. But I also fell in love with scuba diving. It was the first time I had the opportunity to scuba dive. I went back to the Caribbean the following year, went to St. Lucia on that second occasion, tried scuba diving again. And I remember having a long conversation with the guy that taught me how or tried scuba diving with. It was a Scottish guy and he used to walk down the beach. He had his shorty wetsuit on, down to his waist. And he had this book of fishes and coral, and he'd go around and he'd try and persuade everybody to try scuba diving in the pool, and then if you liked it, you would go out in the ocean. It's called Discover Scuba Diving, and he said to me, you could do this, I was really passionate about it, and we were in the bar drinking rum, funnily enough, and I said to him, I'd love to do your job, and he said to me, well, do it then, and I said, well, what do you mean? And he went, just do it. And I was 27 or whatever old I was. No, 22 at the time.
Okay.
And I said, oh, well, no, I've got a job and I've got a wife and I've got, a career and a house and in England. And he was like, well, everybody says that. 5 years later, having gone through not a great relationship period, I actually gave up my job, learned to be a scuba diver instructor, and ended up in the Caribbean.
Wow. And may I ask what was the day job prior to that?
I was a sales manager for a German company selling
Okay. Yep.
non-ferrous metals,
Wow. Okay. So
aluminium, stainless steel. Really enjoyed it, actually. Really good job.
fantastic. So quite a distinctive move then.
Yeah, it was definitely at 26, 27. I was in a place where I wanted to sort of go out and see the world. But I really wanted to be a scuba diving instructor. I
Yep.
really had a passion for that. And I wanted to be a diving instructor in the Caribbean. And that's what eventually led me there. I did some courses. I did most of them in the UK, in the Lake District, and then I worked up in Scotland. Um, and then I eventually, via Lanzarote, ended up living in Grand Cayman. which was my dream location because of the diving. It's the home of scuba diving,
Yeah.
certainly sport diving that I was doing.
Fantastic. And how long were you out there for?
So I lived in and around the Caribbean for about 7 years.
Okay.
I lived in the Caribbean itself for a total of about 4 year period. I lived in Grand Cayman twice. I lived in St. Martin on the Dutch side,
Yep.
and I worked on cruise ships traveling around the Caribbean. So I've been very lucky. I've been to over 15 different Caribbean islands. One of the things I would always do is try the rums on the island. Um,
Yep.
it's typical. Go to the. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? Go to the barman on the beach bar and say, what's the local rum? Mix me a signature cocktail or drink it long or on its own. Um,
Yep.
so I've got a lot of experience of different rums from different islands. And so when we started the company 5 years ago, just during the pandemic,
Mm.
we I really wanted to bring the rum that I was drinking back in the day in the Caribbean to the UK market. And now there are companies, there are independent bottlers, of course there are. There are people who've been bottling single cask rums for a long time. But I don't think there's anybody doing it in the way that we do it in the luxury packaging. We're trying to elevate rum, the category of rum, and bring single cask rums to a wider audience than I think has currently existed previously. And it's the rum that I like to drink.
Perfect. So in terms of obviously when you were out there scuba diving, what was the catalyst or the decision that went to decide to come back to the UK at that point?
Well, I met my girlfriend at the time, currently my wife. Currently my wife, that doesn't sound right, does it?
The present
My
Mrs.
wife.
Howard.
She's going to walk past the room in a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah. Now you're in trouble.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll cut that bit. So yeah, yeah. Met my wife working on cruise ships. She was a singer. I was a scuba diving instructor. We'd done a couple of years together working. She went off to work on another ship as she was a singer. I went to one of the islands to work, and eventually we made our way back to the UK to get married, settle down. And I think when you've been traveling for 7 years, living out of a suitcase,
Yeah.
arguably drinking too much rum every night,
Can that ever
there
be a
does
thing?
come a period of time when you think, maybe this needs to end. We need to come back and grow up maybe grow up a little bit.
My goodness gracious, no.
God
Gosh.
forbid. God
Um,
forbid.
and then I know the answer to this, but obviously it wasn't a straight move into rum at that point, was it? It was
No,
something beforehand.
when we came back to the UK in 2000 and when was it? 20 or 25 years ago, 2004. Um, I was putting together the ideas of things that I'd done in the past. So, I said before, I worked in sales. I'd done first aid all my life. So we actually started a first aid training company. We were first to market in the UK selling defibrillators, which everybody listening is probably familiar with, but 25 years ago, no one knew what they were. So
Oh,
that was a company that we grew and sold. We moved to Spain. We lived in Spain for 5 years with the family. Our children grew up in Spain. And then we came back during the pandemic because our parents weren't very well. It was coming back to the UK. It was like, what have we got? Let's put our passions together. We're in a position where we can do interesting, exciting things.
mm,
So that's when we started House of Rum.
fantastic. So the defibrillator business, that was UK based, was it?
Yeah,
And
UK based, and we sold that a few years ago.
yeah, perfect. And then when you were out in Spain, what were you doing?
I was enjoying life, to be honest.
Well, what?
You know,
Absolute,
the
great.
we've got some really competent people that work for us, and
Yeah,
they're effectively managing the businesses that we had in the UK at the time.
yeah,
Another one that we had was sold as well. So yeah, we had some really fantastic people working for us, which allowed us to
yeah.
do what's the most important thing in the world, isn't it? Spend time with your family if you can afford to do
Yes,
that. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to give the children the best experience, enjoy. As we traveled, we wanted to
yes,
give the children the opportunity to live in a different place,
yeah.
learn a language, meet people from different backgrounds. And so we did that for 5 years. So all the kids are bilingual. We had a
Brilliant.
living there. We had lots of fun with our friends. We made new friends. But yeah, we were just in a very privileged position where we weren't, in essence, going to work every day, although
Yes. Yep.
we obviously in our businesses.
Yes. Yep.
Great, great family time. It was brilliant.
Fantastic. And whereabouts in Spain were you?
In Alicante,
Oh, brilliant. Lovely. Great
so
stuff.
really, that's a beautiful
Nice.
city, and we were just
Yes.
south of that, just inland near a little fishing village called Santa Paula. If anybody knows it,
Fantastic. Fantastic. And
highly
then
recommend it.
was he come back? And as I'm looking out the window now, obviously, I was in Spain last week, and yeah, it's quite a although we've had one or two good days this week, it's quite a distinction between the weather back here, isn't it? So you made the decision to come back for the lovely climate and everything here, and then at that point decided, obviously, pandemic, decided then to start the business.
Yeah, I mean, we coming back to the UK, I wouldn't say needed something to do, but I'm an entrepreneur, right? So
Yes, yeah,
I think to be successful, you need to do something that you're passionate about, something that you're interested in, that will carry you through the difficult times. Rum's always been my go-to drink, and it's something that I'd toyed with the idea with over the years. But I think coming back to the UK, in essence, a fresh start. I could easily have gone sort of back into the businesses, if you like.
yes, yeah,
Um, but no, I saw it as an opportunity to try something that I'd always wanted to do, which was our own rum brand. And we spent a bit of time doing research on it. And so House of Rum was born. Uh, but we didn't have a distiller we were working with. We didn't really know where we were going to get our rums from. We kind of worked on the packaging and the website, etc. But we certainly spent a year or two really learning and understanding. We're
yeah,
5 years in now, and I'm learning and understanding every day because it's a dynamic market, as you know.
absolutely.
We are at a point in the market where it's quite niche. And so we spend a lot of time educating, doing things like this. We do a lot of tastings. We're trying to get people to understand that single cask, single vintage, single distillery rums at cask strength is something that they should consider when they're having a moment of enjoyment, right? So an after dinner drink, a drink with a cigar, it's that kind of drink. And people sort of, for years, the obvious thing to do is go to a single malt or a fine champagne cognac
Yeah.
or whatever other premium dark spirits. And rum's not really been in their mindset.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of education, giving people the opportunity to try it.
Yes. Yep.
And so yeah, it's been a really interesting 4 years of learning. And like I say, we're still learning every day, and I'm in conversations with people every day, and lots of people don't even know that rum at this level exists. So we've got a long way to go.
Yeah. But I presume, obviously, um, being in the position where you are, and obviously, let's say an origin, but obviously with a big task of educating people that like you say, might have finished the evening with a cognac or a single malt, making them aware that there is a premium alternative to that. Puts you in a good space in terms of obviously positioning House of Rum as that product
Yeah,
for that event as such, I'd imagine.
yeah, and I think the great thing is we've spent a lot of time on packaging. Now we do, whether you like it or not. Packaging is important. You drink with your eyes. We spent a lot of time. Let me get a full bottle. We went to Italy for the glass, so it's flint glass, so it's the clearest glass that you can get. We wanted a broad-shouldered decanter that sits well on a shelf, from a
Yeah.
shelf perspective. But the design was all done in Cognac in France.
Right.
And all the labels and the medallion, still comes from Cognac. The recycled cork comes from Cognac.
Ah, okay. Yep.
It all comes. So we wanted that luxury feel. So going to
Yeah.
Cognac or France, the home of luxury,
Yes.
felt like the right thing to do. And we're very glad that we did because it definitely elevates the brand. And at least when people are drawn to it on a back bar or as a gift or for collectors, you've really got the best bottle that you could possibly get.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's when you look at a bar, I mean, there's thousands of bottles that all look exactly the same, isn't there? And it's very difficult to differentiate between them. Obviously, you're going to be looking at the label itself, but I mean, a bottle like yours is very eye-catching and distinctive, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And we spent a lot of time getting to that design,
Mm,
even the medallion, the logo that we have, which is the Diablo, and the name House of Rum. When we run that through the IP lawyers, they couldn't believe that no one had taken that name already. So,
well, yeah, I didn't
well
even
done
think of that.
for
That's
us.
incredible, isn't it? Gosh.
Yeah, it's just one of those names that comes to you in the shower. It's
Yeah.
we're trying to have a bit of an umbrella brand name that encompasses not quite all things to all people, but very much, where's your house of rum? Your house of rum might be the room that you sat in now. It could be having a barbecue with your friends.
Yes.
It could be, taking a cigar and sitting down on your own and just enjoying the moment. So that house of rum really does encompass a little bit more than just a single cask collection. It could be,
Yes.
a spiced rum or, long drinks or cocktails. It's really more than that. And that's what we're going to expand into in the future, because we want rum to be more accessible and more recognized for the amazing drink that it is. I mean, we've already mentioned, sitting down and having a single malt whiskey or whatever.
Yeah.
But, the same whiskey from the same distillery, whether it's 8 year, 10 year, 12 year,
Yes.
going
Yeah.
to kind of be the same. It's going to taste very similar.
Yeah.
And one thing that we found last year, some of the feedback we had when we exhibited at the Whiskey Live show, for example, is that trying rums from Panama or El Salvador or Dominican Republic or Barbados or Jamaica, people are coming on the stand who've never tried rums, single cask rum before. They were surprised that actually they were so different. We've taken
Yes. Yeah.
people on a flavor journey and a journey of discovery by offering people on a flight rums from different islands, different distilleries, different vintages. And one thing that we don't do is we don't do anything to the rum. So when we take the liquid from the cask, we filter it ever so slightly just to take all the bits that are in the cask over time.
Mm.
And we pop it in the bottle. So we don't add water to reduce the ABV, hence cask strength. We don't add caramel for color, which you'll see on every shelf in every bar. People blends, batch
Yes.
blends and
Indeed.
batches.
Yeah.
And we don't add sugar for sweetness or any other flavorings. It
Yeah.
is rum in its most unadulterated, in its most natural form. Hence why you get rums that are different colors.
Yeah. Very. Yeah.
We don't do
What a
anything with it. It's just it
what a
just
contrast. Yeah.
is what it is, and that's all to do with the tropical aging or the continental aging, the type of wood that it's in, how long it's been in wood, etc.
Fantastic. So, what was the first country that the first product came from?
Yeah,
How did you decide?
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So we get sent lots of samples all the time. My desk is covered in samples. Yeah, oh, suppliers. So House of Rum, we go out into the marketplace, we buy from distributors, distilleries, we buy at auction and from collectors. We get sent lots of samples. They have to have the full maturation journey. It's essentially like a passport for the rums.
Hmm.
You have to know where they were distilled, what they were distilled on, whether it was a pot, column still. What was it? Was it molasses? Was it sugarcane juice? What wood was it put into? Very often in the Caribbean, it's American oak ex bourbon cask, but it's not exclusively that. And then how long did it spend tropically maturing in the Caribbean, for example? And then before it gets and then gets shipped to the UK, does it get recast into an ex-whiskey cask or a cask that's held rum previously? And then it's continentally aged for another period of time before we then
Hmm.
use to bottle it. Um, So when we're out there choosing rums, we really are choosing, I'm buying what I like, right? And I hope you like it too, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So as long as it's got that full maturation journey, and it's evidenced, then we invariably we buy the cask, add it to our cask stock. And then in 2021, when we was really, really new to this, we came across a cask from Venezuela, um,
Okay.
which was 16 years old. It's slightly different to a lot of the rums that we have in that although it was distilled in the Caribbean from molasses, it was actually placed into a French oak ex brandy cask rather than
Okay.
an
Yeah.
American oak ex bourbon cask,
Yeah.
matured in Venezuela for 4 years. And then it was sent to Dominican Republic. It was matured for 4 years there. And then it was shipped to the UK for another 8 years of continental uh,
Good God. Wow.
maturation. It stayed in the same cask its entire life. So a truest expression of single cask. That cask has been refurbished and now sits in my garage. We use that for the barbecues and stuff in the summer.
Brilliant.
But to mark the occasion of our first ever cast, we placed it into a different decanter,
Wow.
into a gift pack with
Gosh.
two
It's
Cumbria
amazing.
two Cumbria crystal glasses. So you can see
That looks astounding, doesn't it? Gosh.
it's amazing, isn't it? And
That's
if you look
incredible.
through it, our logo is on the back with the bottle number. You probably can't see it on here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Just
But
get,
when you
yeah.
look through the bottle, you can see the logo through the back. And we only got 140 bottles from
Okay.
and to make it extra special and luxury, we had these glasses produced at Cumbria Crystal. So Cumbria Crystal, if you're
Wow.
not familiar with them, it's the only company in the UK that still hand blows 24% lead crystal glasses.
Okay. Yep.
Each glass, this design is the Grassmere design, designed in 1972 by Lady Cavendish. Um, and this is a single whiskey tumbler, the size. 10 to 12 days to make each one by hand. We asked them to polish out the punty base so you can actually see our logo. You can't see that, so not really.
Yeah.
You can see maybe see
Yes.
our logo in the bottom of there as well. So when it's
Absolutely.
printed,
Yeah.
you can see our
Fantastic.
logo. So that was our
Oh,
first
I
thing.
love it. Yeah.
Was slightly different to most of the other rums that we have, but a fantastic
That's incredible. Yeah.
fantastic gift pack. We have some of them left. It was 140 that we had produced at the time.
Fantastic. What a journey it's been on.
Oh, it's been brilliant.
It's
It's been
yeah.
fantastic. It's been a lot of learning.
Yes.
We've made a lot of mistakes along the
I'm
way.
sure it's yeah. If you're going to
Um,
be innovative and pioneering, there's got to be, hasn't there, some
I'm not
mistakes
from,
along the way.
but I'm not from the industry, right? So,
Mm,
we've had some great help along the way. Graham Gibson is one of our colleagues, and he's been in the industry a long, long time, 30 years, he won't mind me saying. Without the help of Graham, for example, steering us in the right direction, we
mm.
would probably made a lot more mistakes. But I'm not from the industry, right? I'm not a master distiller.
Yep.
I'm not a mixologist from some fancy bar
Yep.
somewhere that's been involved. I've worked in pubs and clubs and whatever else, but
Yep.
that was a long time ago.
Yep.
So I'm just a guy that likes rum. Lived in the Caribbean, got quite an experience of rum from a
Yes.
consumer perspective. Uh, and I just want to bring fantastic rum to probably more people than it already reaches.
Absolutely. And we were talking, I was going to talk about this later, but obviously we were having a chat off air, and it's obviously a bit of a contentious point, in the industry is it's a bit of a side chat. But obviously we were talking about, as you mentioned, ABV. We were talking obviously there's I won't mention certain brands that are, portraying or perceiving themselves as rum,
Yeah.
but aren't, in the true sense. And I presume there's some obviously with House of Rum being a premium high level um, produced entity. It's setting yourself apart and distinctive from the general mass-produced
Listen,
content that.
we're not taking the moral high ground with regards to, this is the only rum that you can drink if it's unadulterated.
Yeah,
Ours, you drink on its own, or maybe you add some water or take it over ice if you want to reduce the ABV, you want a different aroma or drinking sensation.
yeah,
I'm not opposed to that. I drink rum and coke, right? If I'm out and I'm drinking a long drink, I'm not particularly a cocktail fan, but I do drink them. I'm more a long drink because these drinks are at cask strength.
yes, yeah,
And for for those special occasions or after dinner with your friends, you don't go to the pub and drink this.
yeah, absolutely,
Cask
absolutely.
strength. But I do believe that the definition of rum at 37.5% and above should be strictly adhered to. You can't
Yeah,
claim to be a rum if you don't meet that criteria, whether that's just under 35 or 30%, or whether you're looking at 5% or no alcohol. You
yes,
can't be a non-alcoholic rum. You can't be both. So it's areas like that which I think are a little bit confusing. I don't think there's a great deal of guidelines around rum and rum production.
yes,
As a
yeah.
whole, very often described rum category as the Wild West. And I think that needs to change a little bit. I think there needs to be a little bit more guidance around that. So when people ensure it's a level playing field and that people get what they are expecting to get.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we said, let's get off there. We said, if it happens in with other spirits, say namely whiskey, it might be a bit more newsworthy or arguments made against classifying things products of which they truly aren't. Um,
Absolutely agreed. As with anything in life, you can't call it something that it's not.
yeah,
Uh, and I think that's the only and main point that I'm trying to make is that it shouldn't be portrayed as something that it isn't.
definitely, definitely. And at the moment, I'll segue into where we're leading to. But how many countries have you currently got run from
No,
it
we're just
on?
we're just in the UK at the moment.
Oh, sorry,
Um,
I meant the sorry, I meant the origin of them, where they're.
oh wow. So our whole thing is that we source rum from mainly the Caribbean
Mhm.
islands because that's my background and my experience.
Yes, yeah,
Um, we Our objective is not to repeat islands or countries.
okay,
If we were to repeat an island or country, we wouldn't repeat the distillery from that island or
right,
country.
yes,
And then if
yeah,
we did repeat the distillery, it would be a different vintage.
okay, yeah,
So Foursquare is a good example. We have a Foursquare from 2010.
yeah,
Foursquare, probably one of the most famous, most decorated distilleries around the world, very popular. We were very lucky at the beginning to source that cask because it's not available to most people or anybody really. And then an opportunity arose to get a cask of 2006, so we took it. So our objective is absolutely not to repeat ourselves,
yeah,
but if a very rare single cask becomes available from a different vintage, then we would certainly put it into the warehouse. At the moment, we've got about 12 or 13 casks bottled. A
okay, yeah,
couple are sold out. We sold out of our Dominican Republic from 2000, which was 23 years old when it was
gosh,
bottled.
yes,
Last year, that won the Master medal at the Global Rum and Kashaka Masters. So it won Taste Master,
fantastic,
so best rum in competition. So that sold out straight away,
brilliant.
which was a great accolade for
That's
us.
fantastic. Congratulations.
And we won master medals in two other categories. This year, so the awards are coming out on the middle of March, I think it is.
Okay, right, yeah.
The 1st of March. Anyway, I know the results, but I can't tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've done very well with that. So I think
Brilliant, of course. Yeah.
uh, we've got again from different islands, different distilleries, and different vintages. We wanted to offer when we officially launched in 2023, we bottled 8 casks with a view that we'd launch them over time, just to try and give people a bit of a choice or opportunity to try different things from different
Mm,
islands. So when we do flights, sometimes we'll do a flight of 3 and we do it on a flight board. So we had some of the casks made into staves. So this is a
fantastic.
part of an
Oh, yes. Yeah.
original cask. You can see the charring on the inside, and it's a single cask, and it's got our logo on it.
Oh, oh, fantastic. Yeah.
So we, 3 Glencairn tasting glasses, and we take people on a tasting journey, 3 different rums.
Yeah.
It may be a South American rum, so it could be Venezuela or Nicaragua or wherever, or it could be islands. We could go from Jamaica to Barbados to Trinidad, for example. We do it differently in different places for different people,
Yes. Yeah.
depending on what we're doing, or if we're pairing with cigars. The cigar sommelier would choose the flavor profile of the cigar and the 3 elements
Gotcha.
smoking a cigar. Then they'll pick 3 of our rums based on our flavor profiles to go with the rum, to
Yeah.
go with the cigar.
So, sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And was when you first started, obviously production, um, were you using the tasting sessions as a segue to selling the bottles, or was it bottles first? How did it
So yeah, so
originate?
it's interesting that, isn't it? There's lots of routes to market, right? So of
Mm,
course we sell on our own website. We have a distributor. We're in some retail and we're in some bars, various different parts of the country. Um, but meeting people, whether it's at events like Whiskey Live or Rumfest,
mm,
having private tasting events or hosting our own events where invited guests come and try our rums is obviously a great opportunity for us to discuss the brand story, which is an authentic brand story. Not every brand's got an authentic brand story, as you
yeah.
know. It's great to be able to tell your own story, to tell the
Definitely.
story of the liquids. I explain to people, from education perspective, how rum is made often. Sometimes we have to go into that sort of level of detail.
Mm,
And then to give people the opportunity to try 3 different rums or 4 different rums from different islands, maybe from molasses or from sugarcane or whatever. To just give them that opportunity to get that liquid on lips. And as you know, liquid on lips is super important for
absolutely.
people to want
Yes.
to go and buy a bottle, and invest this much money in a bottle. So our sort of most cost-effective bottle is about 130 quid. The pack I showed you before, the Venezuela's sort of like 550. And then we have a collection of Coroni, 3 Coronis. I don't know if you know much about Coroni, but we have a collection of Coroni, which is 4.5 grand for the pack. It's a trilogy. So Coroni, if
Mm,
you know, is a distillery in Trinidad, was a distillery in Trinidad, which
okay.
around for a long time, closed in 2003. Um, the government was trying to sell off the remaining cask stock over a period of time.
Mm,
And so between sort of 2003 and 2010, some independent bottlers in Europe purchased the remaining cask stock and then bottled Coroni. What that limited stock started to
yeah.
bottle that Coroni and sell it over the last 15 years. We were lucky to buy 3 casks through a collector and through auction. We bought a cask of 1997, a 1998, and a 1999. All of them are distinctly different in flavor, and we'll talk about Corona on a separate podcast because that's a whole story that would take several hours. But it's the most sought after, most collectible rum there is. It's got a real following over the last 15 years. So we bottled it last year, or bottled the 3 last year. We sell it as a trilogy.
Mm,
At the time of bottling, it was the oldest bottling in the world, for 26, 27, and 28 years old. It was the first time that a trilogy, 3 consecutive years, had been released at the
mm,
same time. and you buy the same bottle number of each. So we got 174 trilogies effectively out of the three casks.
Wow. Yeah.
And you buy bottle number one, one, and one, or two, two, and two, or whatever
Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
your favorite number is, and it comes in a big case,
My goodness.
which is pretty.
That's magnificent.
Yeah, it's
That's that.
very well packaged.
Wow.
The Globetrotter style case. So you get all the three rums. You get the Glencairn tasting glasses and the stave and a booklet, and it's a real collectible item. That it's a very unique piece of rum drinking
Definitely.
history for sure. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to
Yeah.
do innovative, interesting
Yeah.
rums. We're trying to package them up in a luxury way for collectors and gifting, as well as obviously drinking. We want people to drink it, right?
Yes. Of course. Yeah. At the
Isn't
end of
that
the
the
day.
point? Isn't that
Yeah.
the point?
It looks fantastic, but yeah, you also want people to enjoy it as the fantastic taste as well. Which leads me into we've got some samples to hand.
Yeah.
Here's some received kindly from yourself earlier on. So I will let you guide direct and talk us through the three we have, and yeah, look forward to tasting and hearing more about the three of them.
Okay, should we start? Well, let's start with Barbados then.
Perfect.
So this is a Barbados, the home of rum, right? So for those
Yep.
people that don't know, rum as we know it in the UK started around 1650 in Barbados. That's like the earliest known record. Not that sugarcane drinks have been around for thousands of years around the world, but I suppose if you want to call it modern rum or rum as we know it in the UK, started around 1650 in Barbados. So that's the home of rum. So let's start there. Let's do that.
Perfect.
So this
Perfect.
particular bottle comes from Foursquare, as I mentioned before, one
Yes.
of the
Yep.
most decorated distilleries in the world. Very well known. They've done a great job in Barbados, and Foursquare in particular. Richard Seal and his family have done a great job of promoting rum in this format of single cask and rum to be drunk on its own as opposed to being mixed.
Yep.
So we bottled this in 2023. All these were bottled in 2023. So it was
Okay.
13 years old at the time. I mentioned before our labeling comes from cognac in France. So on our front of our labels, we have all the information you would want. So the vintage, the distillery, some tasting notes. Each of the bottles is numbered. So that's 138.
Oh yes. Yes. Yeah. Very good.
262 bottles we got from that particular cask. The ABV, this is 60.5% ABV.
Ticks the box there. Yep.
And then on the reverse, we've got some information on the maturation journey. So this particular one, 5 years in an American oak ex bourbon cask, tropically aged in Barbados, shipped to the UK. When it got to the UK, it was then placed into a ex malt, ex whiskey cask.
Mm-hmm.
And it matured, continentally matured for a further 7 years before we bottled it in 2023.
Yep.
So what you find with Bajan rum, with Barbados rum, is I mean, you got lots of those fruit notes for sure. More dried fruits than tropical fruit notes.
Yes. Yes.
I think, but you do get spices. I think
Yes.
Barbados, you get
Yeah.
some spice, and I think there's some pepper in there for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
It's breakfast drinking. That's what we're
Absolutely. Or
doing.
just timestamp 20 past 11, so it's I think it's acceptable.
Why not?
Oh, that's lovely.
Fantastic, that isn't it?
That's phenomenal. Yeah.
And I think the great thing about the time spent in wood, and we talk about this a lot when we're doing tastings, time spent in wood really mellows. So when you give someone the ABV, and very often we don't initially, people go, what, 60%
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
57% or whatever.
Yeah.
They immediately start to think, wow, that's going to be hot, it's going to burn, it's going to be.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think time spent in wood, particularly tropically aging, really, really takes that a lot of that away.
I, I completely agree. I mean, rum. Rum. Also, not just saying it because of you, but yeah, rum would be my go-to spirit. I mean, any day of the week. But comparing it to so when I've been strong-armed into having a single malt or something, there is a again maybe it's maybe my preferences, but there's a distinctive when you're having a strong whiskey and it's personal preference, but it's not got the same um, ease of drinking as a premium rum.
Yeah, listen, I think tropical aging, I mean, aging in the tropics is, I think it's 3 times faster than, the temperature, the climate. It makes
Mm,
that interaction between the liquid, the air, the wood, the air, and back again. That movement that takes place as because wood is breathable, that movement that takes place between those different elements because of the temperature, because of the climate, is 3 times faster. So you get a lot more interaction with the wood in the tropics than you do in Scotland, for example.
yes.
And that's
Yeah.
why you end up with rums which are much darker. And remember, this is without any food caramel colouring, which you'll find in some other products.
Indeed.
That, that,
Yes.
that's just
That's
time spent in wood. And this particular one, this is from Nicaragua, 2004. That was in the same cask for 21 years.
gosh. I mean,
So
that's a beautiful colour.
it's incredible, isn't it? And actually, in the glass, it looks orange, a little bit tint of orange. And so completely different to the color of this one, right?
Mm,
So, just 5 years of tropical aging
definitely.
before being continentally aged in the UK. And when we continentally aged, when we first started the business, a lot of our casks were kept in Liverpool, but we now keep them up in Scotland. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
these large whiskey warehouses that exist all
Yes.
around
Yeah.
Scotland. Quite phenomenal places to visit, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. Yes. Yeah.
Even
So
so, that's the
that's
Barbados.
Barbados.
You enjoy that? You think that?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah,
It's a great run.
very much so. Yes,
Want to do another one?
I do. Yeah, I.
I get straight into it.
I won't say no. Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right. Well, we'll just go on the line. I suppose it's just on my desk. Oh, so the next one is Guatemala. All right. So slightly different. It's still American oak ex bourbon cask. It's still molasses. Slightly younger, 2012. So it was
Yeah.
11-year-old when we bottled it. 3 years tropical maturation before being shipped. And again, this one actually was popped into a Scotch whiskey cask when it came over
Okay.
from Guatemala. The distillery is Darsa, which is Distiladora de Alcoholes y Rones Sociedad Anónima. I had to read that because
Very impressive.
I always get it wrong, and I'm sure there's many more Spanish
Sounding
speakers
impressive. Yeah.
watching this who are going, "What did he just do with that?" So I'd apologise
That
for
is sounding good.
240 bottles from this particular cask.
Okay.
This one is 57.8% ABV.
Very good.
So what you'll notice with this one is the
Mm.
rather than the sort of stone fruits and pepper we got on the last one, this one is much more chocolatey. It's a little bit nutty, but not peppery.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very different. Yes.
It's more toasted and coffee, sort of.
Coffee.
But
Yes.
still, there's always going to be some spice there, I think, because of the wood, but it's
It's
not
quite
overly,
distinctive.
it's not overly vanilla either. Although you've got vanilla,
No. No.
And this one is more of a long finish. I think the Barbados one is quite dry.
Sort of dry, yeah, sort of punchier. You get the feeling. Well, this is yeah, a bit more longer lasting and
Certainly fills the mouth a little bit more.
definitely, yes. Yeah. Yeah, the after effect of it's very, very different.
That's part of what we take people on, that opportunity to try
Mm,
different
yeah.
places.
Yeah, that's very different.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's quite a contrast. But yeah, like you say, the aftertaste is, yeah, it's still with you, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so. I think so.
I like that one. Yeah.
I think it's quite surprising. Most people probably haven't had rums, particularly in the UK. We tend to drink rums from British islands. You know, and when I lived in Spain, you're drinking rums from Spanish islands or countries or Spanish speaking.
Yes. Yeah.
The French drink, you know, rum agricole from the French
Yes.
island,
From
which
with an
is
H. Yeah. Yeah.
sugarcane juice, very
Yeah.
herbaceous, but best drunk young, etc. Um, not aged in the same way that some of the molasses-based
Mm.
rums are aged for the most part. General terms.
Yeah.
There's going to be someone going, "Yes, we do. Of course you do." Um, so because we're used to that British style of rum, typically, whether it be Barbados or even Jamaica, obviously
Okay.
islands which we had some influence over time. When you start getting into the Latin style uh, countries, then you do get a different flavor profile for sure.
Fantastic.
Uh,
Yeah, you can
so
definitely appreciate that.
let's just do this next one. Next one, El Salvador. Again from 2010. 61.7% ABV on this one, 229 bottles from the cask. Cihuatan is the distillery in El Salvador, a family-owned
Okay.
distillery. This spent 6 years maturing, tropically aging in El Salvador in American oak ex-bourbon casks before being shipped to the UK. A further 7 years continentally aging. Again, this is another one that's popped into ex-Scotch whiskey casks. Again, it's different. Again, this is more like the Guatemala than the Barbados for sure.
Okay.
But what you get with this one, which I think is a little bit different, what did I say? 61.7%. It's definitely a little bit more alcoholic, I think,
It's very smooth.
but incredibly, very, it's got a really sweet aftertaste.
Yes.
But this
Yeah.
one is definitely cherry, green apple, citrus. It's got that sort of lively twist to it,
Yeah.
which is different to the other two where you've gone pepper and dry stone fruits to a little bit more at the farther end,
Absolutely. Yeah.
a different. I think it's just a great experience to be able to try the three different ones, and it pick
Yes.
any three
Yep.
different from our range
Okay.
to give people that flavor journey, that experience, uh, that just that journey of discovery of different rums from different places. And I think that's one of the fun things for us to do.
Definitely. Definitely. And obviously, you said you do a lot tastings, expos, that sort of thing. In terms of the combination of them, taking people on the journey, is there any thought process behind, if you're going to a particular event as to, what the three, four, five selections make, or is it complete, random? It doesn't matter too much. It's just about the journey more so.
Yeah, I think we try and do some contrast. I think with so for example, the Whiskey Live show this year, which is in
Mm.
about 3 weeks' time from us recording this. It may have passed by the time this gets released, but having rums that have been recasked into a Scotch whiskey cask gives the whiskey drinker enough familiar tones for them to be able to conceivably cross over from drinking whiskey to rum. Because when we first talk to them, they go, "Oh, I've never tried that. It's really sweet. Is it going to be like
Mm.
a mix in rum?" I nearly named a name, and it's something else they may be familiar with on the back bar. And so, we try and sort of ease them in, if you like, and it gives them the opportunity to go, oh, actually, I recognize those tones that I get from my
Yes.
favorite whiskey, or and when we
Yep.
talk about continental aging, they understand what that is.
Hmm.
Whiskey drinkers are very educated. And then maybe we'll throw in something like our Panama from 2004, which is Panama rums, or rums from Panama are naturally very, very sweet. Remember, we don't add sugar to them, but
Yep.
they're naturally very sweet. So if they say to us on the stand, for example, that's a little bit too dry for me, or I want something that feels a little bit sweet, or whatever, then we have rums in the portfolio within the collection that we can point them in that sort of one direction or the other.
Towards that. Yep. Yep.
No.
Perfect. Perfect. So no, that was phenomenal. And again, yeah, really good to taste them. Um,
I'm just going to
re-
carry on thinking now. I don't know about
yeah.
you,
Well,
but
why not? Why not? Once you started now, it's yeah, it's
it's half
I've,
past 11.
I've hardly dented the bottle, so yeah, I'm gonna have to keep going. I think now, whilst we're talking, and I think my favourite drink is probably the Guatemala one.
Yeah,
Initial. I might change my mind after the second round, but yes, no, I mean phenomenal, phenomenal. And in terms of um, what are your thoughts or plans for how you see House of Rum expanding, growing, and the sector that you're in, as a whole for the future? I mean, how do you see
yeah,
things playing
yeah.
out?
Well, I've got a couple of dreams, if you like, for the
Mm,
brand. We need to build enough of a fan base, a community of people that know, like, and trust what we do,
yes.
that they trust my palate. They trust that what we're buying is authentic and tastes fantastic. So that we get to a point where they build a collection, because obviously
Yep.
everyone's different. And so that we get to a point where we've got enough people that we can pre-sell casks, because we have another
Yes.
25 casks in the warehouse. Some of them are incredibly rare that we've managed to source. Some of them are incredibly old. Um, uh, let's be honest, they're going to be expensive, right? So we need to build enough of a base where we can pre-sell product where people know, trust us, and we'll go, you know what, these guys know what they're talking about. There's only 200 bottles. I'm part of the community because I've bought from them, so you're only part of the community if you buy from us. And we give those people the opportunity to purchase pre-sale in advance. So we'd love
Yep.
to be able to pre-sell casks. That would be great from a business perspective, as you well know, from a cash flow perspective, to be able to sell before you then get into the costs of bottling
Absolutely.
and duty and
Yep.
shipping and all that would be wonderful. I really would like to see in the on-trade though. You go and sit in a nice bar, you go to the American bar at the Savoy, or you're at Rum Tavern, or you're at
Yep.
whatever in central London, or you're at Dakota in Manchester, or
Yep.
whatever. Where you open that spirits menu, you look at that cocktail menu, the drinks menu, and instead of it being page after page of single malts, you got a whole page of
Yep.
Speyside and a whole page of Isla and a whole page of whatever. That when it comes to rum,
Yep.
actually, rather than it just be blended rums for mixing,
Yes.
really for drinking on their own, that actually there's a House of Rum page, and every single, like a wine menu, really, where it says El Salvador, we've got some tasting notes under that, and it says Guatemala with some tasting notes, and Nicaragua with tasting notes,
Yes.
where
Yep.
people could go through that with tasting notes and go, actually, I'd really like to try a rum from a country, Nicaragua, Barbados, wherever, that
Mm,
I've not tried before, and I'll give it a go.
yep.
So those are the kind of two dreams for the brand. But as I said earlier, House of Rum is going to be lots of things to lots of different people. And as a business, as a drinks entrepreneur,
Mm,
as
yes. Yeah.
the podcasts, about, we also need volume, right? So,
Yeah.
we only get a couple hundred bottles from this. The rum is expensive, the bottles are expensive, the labels are
Yeah.
expensive, they come in a nice box. We don't make a lot of money. And so volume really is the way forward for brands to survive, brands small,
Mm,
family-owned brands like ours need some volume. So,
Yeah.
we will be bringing out a spiced rum later in the year. And we're doing it completely different. It's a British rum, and with that, we're hoping to get some volume and do something. We're going to do something different with that, for
Okay.
you know. Um,
Which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, obviously from a volume perspective, that you to have the distinctive elements that you've got a very premium range that looks fantastic, tastes fantastic. It's got history, a, a story, an origin story. It obviously comes at a price, which it should do because if you compare it to other spirits, whiskey, etc., it should be in that category. But having something distinctive that perhaps sits somewhere, I don't know if you say in the middle, to get that volume, but still, I'm presuming, is still going to be of a certain level
yeah, everything
to
we do is
warrant.
premium. Everything we do is premium. The single cask collection, as we've already said, is unadulterated.
Yes.
So having a blended spiced rum is obviously that's the opposite, if you like.
Mm,
And and we've toyed with this for a long time. It's like, we got some mixed messaging here. And
yeah.
but actually we are having a rum produced in the UK. So we're supporting British industry in that respect. We're doing it in completely different packaging for what we've had. I mean, we've got our Diablo logo here. So we're keeping the logo, but we're calling it Diablo Spiced. And it's going to be a absolutely super premium spiced rum using all the knowledge that we have, all the understanding that we have of the marketplace now after nearly 5 years. But the reality is, as a brand owner, we don't sell a lot of the single cask rums.
No.
It takes time to build a brand, and to be able to keep going and doing the things that we love, the reality is, we have to look at other ways of generating revenue, getting the brand name out with a view that people enjoy that. Not everybody enjoys drinking rums, sipping rums, for example, at cask strength.
Mm,
Most rum is drunk mixed or in concert.
with
We said at the
yes.
beginning.
Yeah.
So, we need a little piece of that action to enable us to carry on doing all the other good stuff that we're doing. It's always going to be a blended mix. And House of Rum, the name allows us, that umbrella name allows us to be all things to all different people.
It makes a lot of sense. And is the intention before, obviously, because if you're at a premium bar in London or Manchester or Edinburgh or wherever, and you see obviously there's let's call it an entry level rum, and then obviously you see a slightly more um, higher priced rum, which you think is, the differential is a reasonable amount, but not an excessive difference. Is that where you think the more extensive or the more
Yeah, well, so right,
long.
I was in what day is today? Friday. I was in London on Wednesday. Went for dinner with my wife. We go for drinks before we go for dinner.
Hmm,
Okay, so I'm not going to drink single cask rum or a single malt
beforehand. Yeah,
before dinner, right? I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to have a rum coke. I'm going to have, wife's
yeah,
having tonic or whatever it is.
yeah.
You're going to have a drink, and we want people to drink spiced rum, House of Rum, Diablo spiced rum, if you like, before dinner, or you go for dinner. After dinner, you're going to drink single cask, and then maybe you go out to a club dancing later on. You're not going to continue drinking single cask. You might
At
go back.
our age.
I'm not going to reveal my age. But you're drinking different things at different points of your evening.
Yeah,
You're drinking different things. Middle of the afternoon, barbecue in the summer.
yeah,
You're going to drink spiced rum and ginger ale.
absolute. Yeah,
Or you're going
yeah,
to have some friends around. You're going to play around. You're going to mix some cocktails. You're going to do all sorts of stuff.
yeah.
So we want to be part of that drinking experience all times of the day. Not just for breakfast like us this morning. We need to be available for everybody and accessible for everybody. One, because we want to do that.
Yeah,
But let's put our business hat on.
yeah,
We need volume. We need to
yeah.
sell more products so that we it's tough out there, and we want to keep the doors open for a long time. And we want to
Yes,
build this
absolutely.
brand. We'd love for
Yeah,
House of Rum to be generational, right?
yeah,
So for us to build on all the hard work that we've done,
yeah,
we need to pivot, or we need to expand, or we need to grow our opportunities. We
yeah.
can't be isolated in one small niche, and it is a niche where we sit. It's
Yes,
going to be a
yeah,
niche for a long time as we educate people and we get people to try to move across from other premium dark spirits. That's the reality of the world that we live in as a business owner and a brand owner. And so we need to grow and try other things. Listen, I might be wrong. I might get wrong,
I,
it might look rubbish and it might
I
fall
don't
on
think
its
so.
side.
No, I don't think so. I think, I mean, one, it's a great name. I love Diablo Spice. I'm sure, again, when you were coming up with the House of Rum, obviously found it wasn't already trademarked.
Yeah.
Um, Fantastic tick in the box. But Diablo Spice, what a phenomenal name that stands out as distinctive, isn't it? It's
Yeah, well, it's the logo. Our logo is a Diablo. If someone teaches me.
mm,
That's our Diablo, and our Diablo is a
brilliant.
mischievous. He's a flirty Diablo. Um, he's out for a good time, right? It's
Yeah,
not a devil in a unpleasant way. It's supposed to
yes,
be the fun devil on your shoulder, the fun Diablo on your
yeah,
shoulder. When you're having a good night out, you're having a good time, hanging out with your friends and family,
yeah,
and just bringing out the fun in everything. It's all
yeah,
about fun and having a good time. And certainly from my backstory, it's reminiscent of my days. When I started out as a dive instructor and living in the Caribbean and having a good time. And I think
yeah,
that's part of this. It's bringing that fun Caribbean
yeah,
vibe to
as
life.
it should be. Yeah, yeah,
Wherever you choose to, wherever your house of rum is.
yeah, yeah. And I think it works well. Having two distinctive elements to the business. It complements, but you've got the sort of overarching story of House of Rum, but also you've got the accessibility of even to the same person, but also distinctive categories that you can serve different um, areas of the buying public
Yeah,
to enjoy
people
it.
might trade up. They may trade up.
Yes,
May
yeah,
never trade up.
absolutely, yeah, yeah,
We might just end up with a customer base of people enjoying. Listen, spiced rum is the boom part of the market.
mm,
A lot of people drinking spiced rum that's never drunk it in the past. People moving across from gin, for example, flavored gins or flavored vodkas.
yeah,
Um, so uh, why not? Um,
yeah.
I don't think it detracts from what we're doing with the unadulterated rums. I think it complements it because of the way people drink over the course of an evening or at different times, at different occasions.
I mean, and that's a great point because actually, yeah, as you say, it's very distinctive occasions between, apart from early morning breakfast drinking to your barbecue. I was in London on Wednesday, and it was you picked a good day because it was sunny and
Yeah,
I walked. I finished my meetings, and 4 o'clock the pubs along the Thames were busy because there was a hint of sunlight. So obviously all the pubs were packed because everyone was going. Is this our first and only day of sunshine in London? But have a drink then, have a drink before dinner, and you don't want something, you don't necessarily want something too light or too. You want something light at the end of the evening, but you want something that's going to be able to be enjoyed. But you might go for dinner and have a bottle of wine, and then finish with a premium rum at the end of the evening. So having that balance and being able to have that balance is a good thing, isn't it?
I think so. It's how I drink rum if I'm out and about. But I wouldn't drink a cask strength rum on its own if I just went out for a beer on a Friday night with my mates. It's not available for the most part, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't drink a single spirit on its own in that respect. So I don't
no,
think most people do. It really is an
yeah,
occasional drink, a drink to be savoured, drink to be enjoyed, to be
yeah,
poured, drunk slowly, like I said, with a cigar after dinner. With
yeah,
as I do with my mates when they come round.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not, And I think, it might come from the fact, as you said, that because you haven't come from the industry, you've probably got a real world interpretation or thought process behind how drinks should be enjoyed. And if you're going out with your mates on a Friday night, um, in reality, you're not sipping premium drinks. You're not having 6 or 8 rounds of drinks that are premium.
No,
You're having pints,
yeah, I think
rum, and there's a
a lot.
mixture, isn't it?
Of course it is, and I think a huge, and I think statistically, is it something like 82% of all spirits are drunk at home, and a huge amount of proportion, majority of spirits are drunk at home, whatever the
Mm.
less people are drinking in hospitality venues.
Yeah,
And so it's a different mix. And you go to central London, of course, there's a lot of cocktail bars and really fancy restaurants and the rest of it. That's not necessarily indicative of the rest of the country. Maybe in
no,
some city centres, some bars and restaurants, and they're fantastic to go to. Of course they are, but they are on occasion. I think majority of the people would have a drink at home on a Tuesday night,
yeah,
or we go out to the pub on a Friday night. Certainly, in places where I live, for sure, or my friends, and you are going to have a beer or a rum and coke or gin
yeah,
and tonic or whatever else. It's more of a long drink
yes,
than a cocktail for the
yeah,
most part,
yeah.
and that's what we're trying to tap into. We're trying to tap into. Essentially, we're doing what I do.
Well, why
That's my
not?
lived
Yeah,
experience,
absolutely. Yeah,
right? It's my
yeah,
lived experience.
yeah,
So that's where we sit as a brand.
yeah,
We bottle single cask rums because that's what I like to drink. We're
yeah,
producing a spiced rum that we drink with Coke or with ginger ale or whatever. That's
yeah,
what I like to drink. And when we do our research and we talk to people and we do a lot of research, that feedback that's what people do generally.
yeah. I think that's important, and I think that's a great way to approach it. The fact that obviously because you do so many tastings, you see or not only the feeling of obviously the impression of what people gauge in terms of the taste of what's said, but also the research of what people are looking for. And I think the real world approach of knowing what you like, which again I think is an important indication of a very broad section of society in terms of the buying public. Whereas if you were only looking at a sipping rum or a premium whiskey or it's a much more narrower corridor, isn't it, in terms of what people are looking for. But to have that breadth, but also to have a premium offering and also a more centralized product,
Listen,
ticks a lot of boxes.
you have to be true to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And we are, privately owned family company. We're an authentic story. We are
Mm.
doing what we like to do, and we hope other people like it as well. It's not some manufactured brand. It's not just manufactured story or whatever. We're being true to ourselves. And it's tough out there. And if you're not true to yourself, if you've got some made up story and some made up product, I would imagine it's very difficult to keep going in this very difficult climate, right? But if you're
Yes.
passionate
Yeah.
about what you've created,
Yeah.
passionate and you believe in what you're doing, then that will help you through those difficult times because it is tough out there, right? And we are a new brand and we are learning. We are a startup, even though we're 5 years or whatever it is. And we're learning as we go. So we are trying lots of different things. We are trying what feels right. There is some element of research that goes behind it. But we do what we feel is right. And, we will be right sometimes and we'll be wrong sometimes. But you know what? That's
Yeah.
part of the journey, right? There is
Of
no end.
course. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
part of learning. And the journey is the joy. The
Yeah.
journey and the learning is why you do it.
Yeah.
So let's hope we're right. Let's hope it's successful. Um, and if we're not, well, we'll just chalk it up as
I'm
another learning experience. I'm really
I'm
not
I'm
going to
100%
fail.
certain it will be and continue to be a successful journey. And in terms of obviously, it's lip sealed. Obviously, you've got the awards results coming out very shortly, so we'll look forward to that. And I assume by the time this will go out, we'll know. So we'll add that in, which will be fantastic. But where do you see things in terms, as much as we can ever tell, or where you hope things will be, and let's say from a business perspective, journey where you want, where you'd like things to be, let's say if we have a conversation in 1 year's time, 3 or 5 years time, where do you see the business and the sector in general?
Well, great question on the sector. I said, listen, I think rum is growing
Yeah.
overall, whether it's ultra premium, rare cask stuff like ours, or just premium, or even for mixing, or even RTDs.
Mm.
I think the category of rum itself is growing. I think will continue to grow. Now, I know a lot of people have said, and we meet a lot of people that have said, oh, for the last 30 years, rum's the next big thing, and gin's had its day, etc. But I do feel that rum is getting a lot more attention now. I think it's being taken a lot more seriously.
Yeah.
I think if we can get that sort of guidance and regulation a little bit, so people can
Mm.
trust in it a little bit more, maybe, then I think it will only grow. I absolutely believe that, from the conversations that we're having about single cask sipping rums, there's a lot more interest, a lot more buzz around that, which will be great and hopefully get to that level of community for the whole pre-sale thing I mentioned earlier. Would be cool. And there will be, I'm absolutely confident, an explosion in the spiced rum or flavor
Yeah.
for sure. Not silly flavorings. I'm not talking about some of the things you may have seen,
Lots of them. Yeah.
without mentioning their names. I think
Yes.
genuine quality products will always win out anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think, direct to consumer, I think the consumer through social these days is a lot more savvy. They do a lot more research. They know what they're looking for. And I think if you're honest and transparent and work hard on an authentic story, I think that all wins out. I think people see through the BS now.
Definitely.
And I think they do want authenticity. And I think
100%.
we're in the UK, but I think a lot of people want to buy British brands as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And in terms of obviously plugging House of Rum. Obviously, with the current premium offering, how do people find out more? See, there's the website. How do people get involved? Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, of course, yeah, you can buy direct from our website. If you follow us on socials, then when we do launch a new product and we do have a rum coming this year, I think in May, I think we're going to launch another single cask rum, which is incredibly rare. It's I'm hopefully it'll sell out straight away. It's not something you see very often.
okay.
I'll without saying too much. Follow us on socials, and then of course you'll see the stuff that we post. A lot of it's educational. We're trying to stretch people's thinking a little bit, maybe.
Mm,
Some of the educational stuff that we're doing, trying to be a little bit challenging, maybe to the category as well.
absolutely.
Um, so yeah, we're trying to be a bit of a voice and just. I quite like being a disruptor as well. So a little bit disruptive this year. I think we're just going to go for it. But of course, if people sign up, then they'll see things on there. They'll get the opportunity to buy first.
Yeah.
And everything we do, you get a couple of hundred bottles out of a cask, and when it's gone, it's gone. So if you
Yeah.
want to be the first to buy, you want to get the opportunity of the pre-launch pricing, etc., then definitely follow us on all the socials, which are all on our website.
Perfect. And I think that the key to making a statement and building something is all about disruption, isn't it? And I think with rum and with what you're doing, educating as well, because it is like we've said, it is thinking and doing something perhaps that isn't the normal path that someone would take. So I think having you and House of Rum that's doing that can only be a massive positive thing going forwards.
Hopefully, that's the
So
plan. We'll
that's
see,
the plan.
we'll see, Alex. The proof is in the
And
pudding.
Perfect, perfect. Well, we shall follow it with interest.
Thank you very much.
And obviously, how do people get involved with tastings, events? Is
Yeah,
that all on the
again,
website?
yeah, again, everything's posted on socials. So we
Brilliant.
have a build up to event where if it's ticketed, for example, people can get tickets. Some events are open to people. Some events are private events that we run with.
Yep.
We collaborate with brands, for example, for their client base. So if you buy your watch from a particular shop, or you own a particular type of car, or you go to a particular tailor on Savile Row, for example, we do lots of events, collaborative events like
Yep.
that. So keep an eye out for that type of event, which is for clients of those particular customers. Um, and just follow us on socials. I think that's the key. Everything that we're doing, I think we're very proactive. I think we've not been great at telling everybody what we've been doing up until now, but this year will be different. This year
Awesome.
we will be everywhere.
Excellent. That was
Come
great
see
to
us at the
hear.
show. We'll be at Rumfest in Manchester and London, Whiskey Live in London. We're going to try
Perfect.
and do a few shows this year as well.
Great. Well, want everyone to visit and see there. And just want to say massive thanks, Dave, for chatting. And we probably could have gone on a lot longer. I said before we recorded there'd be plenty to talk about, and there was, so which was brilliant. And obviously you said before you've got a tasting this evening at 7 p.m. Um,
This is for the UK Rum Club. So you had to be a member of the UK Rum Club. We did some samples, 5 different rums we're doing this evening. Some small samples for everybody, and I think we're upwards of 75 people that we're going to do kind of what we've done today, but do it
yeah,
online. And we're going to do an online tasting with 5 rums. So maybe
gosh.
stop drinking the 3 that we poured at 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'm good for 7 o'clock this evening.
Absolutely, yeah,
It will
yeah.
be 2 or 3 hours, but that'll be great. That'll be the largest online tasting we've done. 75 people and
I mean,
five.
that's incredible. Yeah,
That'll be cool. That'll be really good. I'm looking
yeah.
forward to it.
And is it all interactive? Obviously, you're talking, explaining,
Yeah,
and obviously
stuff
people
like
are asking
that.
questions.
Yeah. I think that will be managed through the host. It's
Yeah,
going to be hosted by our distributor, Skylark Spirits. So Jazz and Indie, and people will know those in the rum industry.
yeah,
Those guys are going to host, I think, and be sort of monitors, probably not the right word.
yeah,
Gatekeepers, maybe.
yeah. Okay.
I think people will be typing and putting hands up and stuff. I don't think we'll have 75 people all
Yeah,
shouting at the screen. But yeah, we'll be there to answer questions. We're there to do what we've done, talk a little bit about the distillery, about the flavor profile, hear people's points of views. And we're doing a special deal for those guys on the night for anybody who wants to buy as well. So hopefully we'll generate some
fantastic. Well, it
interest.
sounds like
Brand
it's going
awareness.
to be a fun evening. If not, by the time you get to the end of 5 tastings, it's going to be come well, however long it goes, 9 o'clock, or it's going to
Tough
be
job, tough job, mate, but someone's got to do it, right?
it's a very tough job. Yeah, yeah, not envious at all. Yeah. But listen, Dave, no, it's been fantastic, and really appreciate coming on, and what a journey, and want everyone to follow you, and obviously just look at the story. Very excited, obviously, to hear whenever it's in to hear the outcome of the awards, and obviously um,
New
the new
launches.
offering in May, and obviously the Diablo spiced. So it's love to have you on again, and obviously see where you are. After what sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal year, and we're going to watch the growth with with much interest, and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to
My
talk
pleasure, my
all
pleasure,
things
and
rum.
I'll enjoy the rest of the run today. Might leave it to a little bit later on in the day, but enjoy tonight as well, and look forward to speaking soon.
Thank you very much. Take care. Goodbye.
Thanks, Dave. All the
Bye.
best. Bye. Bye.
Bye.